security around Washington was immediately heightened. Now, federal agencies are now conducting a full review of how an armed suspect got so close to the president and one of the most heavily watched political events in America. Today, the biggest question remains, was this carefully planned? Was there any help from inside? And how did a man carrying multiple weapons breach layers of security around the President of the US? And with that, I'd like to welcome both my guests. I have Commodore D.S. Sodi, is a defense expert, along with Mr. Dwivedi, is a foreign affairs expert. I want to come to you, Commodore Sodi. You and I have, of course, been discussing this since morning with Mr. Dwivedi, but now new details have emerged. Now, my question, Commodore Sodi, is that this doesn't look like a spontaneous attack. This does seem like a planned attack. That's number one. That's the first part to my question. What do you think out of the two? And the second part to my question is that what perhaps, Commodore Sodi, could be the motive here? Because Trump is calling it a political motive, but what perhaps, according to you, could be the motive?
And good afternoon to my co-panelists. Well, Vishali, we have already debated this issue, and this act needs to be condemned. It's a wake-up call for the U.S. administration. Yes, there is a sigh of relief. What even has been told by our Prime Minister that Mr. Trump, his wife, and the Vice President, and all the dignitaries, they are safe. Well, if you look at the way this whole thing has happened, yes, it looks that it was a planned, sort of a act to see to it that damage is done to Mr. Trump and to the political bigwigs in the U.S. It seems that since this Elon had checked in the hotel and he was a guest in the hotel, I'm sure that he would have done a recce and he would be aware about he would have made a plan as to how to carry out this attack. The fact that, he had tried to come out of the entry point towards the ballroom, yes, it's a serious concern because though Mr. Trump has been saying that the security services have done a very good job in protecting all these leaders, but the fact still remains that so far as the security is concerned, there is a big question mark. And to me, yes, it seems that it was a planned sort of a act by Elon. And yes, it does look that it may be a sort of a political, there would be a political motive behind this because though Mr. Trump did indicate something towards Iran, but I don't think that it has any link to Iran-US conflict. We all know that people in US have been, also raising concerns regarding how Mr. Trump has been taking the country forward with the almost 8 to 9 wars which he has been claiming that he has stopped the wars, but actually he is the one person who has put a lot of countries into these conflicts. And the statements which have been coming from Mr. President, every day the statements have been changing. The statements have been, viewed with concern because he has been threatening, he has been warning the countries. So all I have to say is that yes, it looks that it was a planned attack, and it has been, somehow there's a sort of relief that no damage has been done, because otherwise the effect would have been very devastating on the US, and maybe it would have had effect on many other countries also.
All right, I'm coming to Mr. Dwivedi with the same question. Mr. Dwivedi, you've of course heard, after what I've read of it, what I feel, and of course what Commodore Sodi feels about it. What is your take on this incident?
I personally feel that being revelers in India, being part of the diasporic element, and being part of the imagined community which is linked to America, which is linked to the White House residing in New Delhi, I think it's a matter of great disgrace for the Americans and for the American establishment and the White House authorities, that is the president, and a moment. It's a kind of a moment where you have to delve inside. The Americans need to delve inside themselves. That is there some sort of a predestination, or is there some sort of an imminent will which is making its way all the way back to America? to the White House. And I personally feel, because it's a disgrace and it's a matter of the lowliest kinds of disgruntlement and humiliation and a kind of a insolent humiliation for the American security apparatus, that something which they tom as themselves, being the mightiest country on the world, as Commodore Saab also said around 3 hours back when I was sitting with him, and still they are not able, still their security apparatus has been breached. And I don't think it's a lone wolf attack at all. I think that it is very much there. It can be substantiated, though the though the acting Attorney General of US has gone on to contend that matters are under investigation. But there definitively might emerge a kind of a linkage with the axis of evil which the America-led coalition of willing is pitted against. And we also talked about this particular idea about maniacism. Now, if we theoretically go into it, please give me a minute, then maniacism happens to be a kind of a diplomatic, military, and a foreign policy instrument, which is utilized very diligently through their propaganda apparatuses, where the enemy head of state is derided, he's ridiculed, he's castigated, and he's belittled, so that the entire world can look at him as a kind of what do you call a nation or a leadership in complete disarray. So that kind of a thing has been two-way as far as the Iran and the American conflict is concerned, wherein they have been calling each other as the great evil and the great Satan since 1979, since 1980, when the American embassy was harangued by the Khomeini regime. So coming back to the assassination, I think it's a great blow to the American homeland security apparatus that it is not the first time that the White House has been breached. I would like to reiterate that during the year 1994, when President Bill Clinton was watching football in his Oval Office, at that point of a time also a lone wolf came in and he fired at the window where he was sitting, but obviously he did not have the range. And the civilians intervened. The civilians intervened and bogged them down. They dragged them down, and then the security agents came second. Once again, a question mark. And they came in second, and they somehow controlled him. And so that was the one incident which comes to my mind. And also in 2013, it was when President Barack Obama was in the White House, was the president of United States of America, but Michelle Obama, the first lady, and the president, they were not in the White House.
Mr.
And both
Dwivedi,
their
I'm getting
little
a
daughters
breaking
were.
update. I'll just have to interrupt you. I'll come back to you.